Hi there, it's Carol with Carolbcrafts. Today we'll be making this beautiful easel card. It's project number 6 in my Beauty Abounds February Create Club kit. Check out my website www.cutstampcreateclub.com to see what current club kits I'm offering. Now this is an easel card, so it will stand up like this so the receiver can enjoy its beauty. I'll give the supplies and dimensions as we go along so that you can make this beautiful card with us. The first thing you'll need is the Beauty Abounds bundle. It includes the Beauty Abounds stamps and the Butterfly Beauty thinlits, which are gorgeous thinlits. The butterflies come in one solid die, but you can also cut it up into single butterflies if you'd like to do that, as we've done in previous projects with this club kit. The inks that you'll need, Gorgeous Grape and Highland Heather, but Highland Heather is optional if you would like to just do these butterflies also in Gorgeous Grape. The adhesives you'll need some multi-purpose glue, and you'll need some snail. For tools, you'll need your piercing tool, your Big Shot, and your Big Shot die brush if you have one. You'll need a piece of thick Whisper White cardstock, 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. 2 pieces of Whisper White cardstock, 3 7/8 by 3 7/8 inches, and then one small piece, 3 by 3 7/8 by 7/8 inches. You'll need some Gorgeous Grape cardstock, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And then you'll need 2 pieces 4 inch by 1 inch and 4 1/8 by 1 1/8. For your Highland Heather, you'll need 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches and then 4 by 4 inches. Your DSP will be 4 by 5 1/4, and this is the Botanical Butterfly DSP. It's a celebration item in our 2019 Occasions catalog. You're going to need some of the clear epoxy droplets and some of the smallest rhinestones. You need 3 of the smallest rhinestones, 3 of the small clear epoxy droplets, and 1 of the large clear epoxy droplets. Okay, so you have all our supplies and dimensions. We're ready to do our stamping. Okay, so I'll be using my Stamparatus, and the stamps that I have are A Friend is Someone Who Chooses You, Out of a Whole World of People, and then I'm using this small butterfly stamp. So I'll start with my 3 7/8 by 3 7/8, and I'm going to get a piece of 4 by 6 clear window sheet because I want to use that to place my stamp. I'm going to stamp Out of a Whole World of People in Gorgeous Grape. And that's going to show me where this is going to stamp, so I'm going to just put this in here. I want to be sure to leave room for my 2 butterflies there. Okay, when you're happy with the placement, you can put your magnet on your paper, remove your plastic, and ink up your stamp. So we have that image. So I've cleaned off my window sheet and I've dried it off. Now I'm ready to put my butterflies on. I'm going to put it up here in the corner and find my butterfly stamp. I'll stamp this here in this, down here in this lower part here, maybe kind of there. And I'm going to stamp that with Highland Heather, but like I said, you could use the Gorgeous Grape if you wanted to. The Highland Heather is just a little lighter, and it gives it a little more dimension. So I want it going, one of the butterflies kind of going off from the word whole. So I'll move my plastic, ink up my stamp. Okay, and then I'm going to put my plastic back where I had it in the corner here. And now I'm going to have it so that this butterfly is kind of going off in this direction. Let me move it so I can kind of see it. And that looks good. Just wherever you like it. Okay, so that's ready. Now we're going to do the smaller part here where it says a friend is someone who chooses you. So now my 3 7/8 by 7/8, and I want to put a friend is someone that chooses you. So I'm going to get my plastic sheeting out again, my window sheet, put it in the corner. I've cleaned it off. It doesn't have the butterfly on it anymore. And I'm going to just, now this is kind of too small to put under here, so I'm going to put this on a piece of scratch paper. I'm just going to take a little bit of snail and then put it here on the edges and attach it to my scratch paper. Now I have something I can slide that under with, so let me pick up this stamp. I'm going to ink this up with Gorgeous Grape. And now I can just slide this underneath and line that up perfectly, but leave room over here for my butterfly. So I'll put the magnet there, ink it up, ink my stamp up again. Okay, I have a friend is someone who chooses you. I've cleaned my window sheet off and dried it off again. I'm going to stamp that little butterfly here in the corner, kind of in the direction that I want it to be, turning. I'll ink that up with some Highland Heather, or you could use Gorgeous Grape. I still have this on my scratch piece of paper, so I can just put that right there, kind of where I want it. Let's see. That looks good. And then I'll ink up my stamp. And we are done with our stamping. Okay, earlier I told you you would need a 11 by 4 1/4 scored at 5 1/2. That's true, but you also need to score it at 1 3/4. So 5 1/2 and 1 3/4. And you're going to find your fold and crease that middle fold. And then you're going to find your 1 3/4 fold, and you're going to crease that fold as well. So this is what you will have, and that forms the base of your card. So we're going to need to die cut our butterflies, and we're going to use our 2 big pieces of Gorgeous Grape and Highland Heather, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Now the Highland Heather is going to be on the bottom, and the Gorgeous Grape is going to be on the top. The bottom die has more surface to it, so that's how you can tell. And I have it reversed here. When you put these two together, you can see that this has more flat surface. It's flatter looking, whereas this has more of an outline surface with more dots here on the big butterfly. So that kind of helps you know which one is which. So we're going to die cut this, and you have to tilt your butterflies just slightly to fit them on there, but they will fit nicely. I'm just going to tape that in place, and then same over here, just need to tilt them slightly till you can get them all on there. I'll tape this in place. Now I'm going to take these over to my Big Shot, and I'm going to go back and forth several times with my Big Shot, roll it back and forth 2 or 3 or 4 times till I can feel the metal all the way through everywhere behind where the die has cut through. Okay, so we have our butterflies, and we know that the Highland Heather is going to go on the bottom and the Gorgeous Grape is on the top. And we want to be able to fluff up the wings on our Gorgeous Grape, so we don't want to put glue all over. We just want to adhere it in key places. And that would be in the center. I see I missed a few of the pieces there that should come off. So the first one is obviously the, well, you know, before we do this, I always forget this. We want to cut off the antenna of all of these butterflies that are on the bottom of the Highland Heather, because we don't want them peeking through. Okay, now we are ready to put on our, glue our pieces together. So this big area here, this is really good for putting glue on. So I'm going to put some pretty good sized glue there. Here's a good sized glue part there. And then here in this center, and I'm even going to put some there in the tail, and this center here. Now I know that this, I'm going to put it just a little there, some here, and I think that's pretty much all that I'm going to do. This glue will hold it in place pretty well. You don't want to put too much, so I'm going to first do the big one, the big butterfly, and then come up here and match up the one in this top left corner. It's going to ooze out a little, but it dries clear, and just be sure not to get it on your fingers. So I'm going to press that together, and then down here straighten it up just a little bit, and then press it down, and then press down the one here. So we'll give that a little bit of time to dry. Well, while that's drying, we'll go ahead and put together the front of our card, which is our gorgeous scrape 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and then our DSP, which was 4 by 5 1/4. It's going to go on top of that, so I'll put that on with some snail. So now I think this is ready to go, and we've got plenty of surface here to attach this. So here on the ends, we definitely want the ends of the wings to be flat. So we're going to do the outsides along the edges. And then the centers. Okay, I think that's good. And we just want to make sure that that fits on. So we're going to have to tilt it a little bit. I think it tilts this way. I think I tilted it sort of this way to get it to die cut it, but I think I'm actually going to have to tilt it a little this way to get it on here. Yep. And maybe just move it up a tiny bit. That's the good thing about the glue. You can change it around. There we go. Then when you have it where you want it, just press it down all around till you get it flat on your card. If you have any glue on your hands, be sure to get it off. Now the next thing we're going to do while that's drying, we're going to put our card together. So we know this is the front of our card, and we're going to open it up, and then this is the inside. So we want to get our sentiment panel and our 4 by 4 piece of Highland Heather, and then before we put that on, we're going to go ahead and get our 2 pieces of gorgeous scrape and our other sentiment. Now these two are very close, and the reason is this one is going to go there, and what it is going to do is it's going to go underneath. It's actually going to go underneath the smaller one. The 1 inch by 4 inch is going to go underneath the 1 1/8 by 4 1/8, and that's to give it a little lift. So that gives it a little lift so that when you do this, it will stay up better. It just gives it a little more dimension and it helps it to stay up. So we'll start by gluing our 4 inch by 1 inch on top, or it will end up on the bottom actually, of the 4 1/8 by 1 1/8. Okay, that's going to dry. And then that's going to be on the bottom actually. And then this is going to go on the top here. So put some glue on this. I'll center this in the center. Okay, this is ready to go on our card down here. And we just want even distances all around. We're going to put that on with some glue. And we're going to be a little generous because this is going to have to hold in place. This is what's going to hold the card in place when it's in the portrait mode. So it looks like it's a little bit, you want it a little bit more on the bottom than on the sides, but not quite 1/8 of an inch. And then now this is ready to go up here, and I'm just going to use some snail to put it on. And you can see there's a gap here, and that gap is to allow, it's about more than 1/8, but not a 1/4. So pretty much just even distances all around. And I can see I got that. All right, so that looks good. So now this is going to hold this in place when it's standing straight up. So we've got our inside finished. All we have left to do is put this on the front, and we're only going to adhere it to this side of the card front. We're not going to adhere it. Now you can use some snail, but I strongly suggest you use glue because the snail is probably not going to hold. Don't get too close to the edge because you have to leave room for the edges, you know, for the border. That might be a little bit much. In fact, I'm sure it is, so I'm going to get a little piece of paper. So I'm just going to get a piece of scratch paper and just kind of smooth that out and get some of the, spread it around so it's not so thick in one place. There, that's good. Now I can just put this here. I want even distances all around. These 3 sides. And that glue is taking hold, which is good. You also need to consider that up here you also want to make sure that you still have a little bit showing up here too, so that it matches up nicely. That's another thing about using the glue, is that you can move that around if you need to. Okay, so that's ready to stand up. We'll give it a little more time to dry. We're going to fluff up our wings here and here, and this one here, these, and this one, and these, and these. That gives it a little dimension. I see I also missed some here. Little piece of die cut that didn't come out. That's good. I was able to get it. Now all we have left to do is to put on our jewels. So we'll bring in our clear epoxy droplets. and our rhinestones. Now there's a large clear epoxy drop it and a small one here on the largest butterfly. So that's kind of on the back behind the head. And then we have one behind that one. A little behind it, not right up next to it. Now another medium clear epoxy here behind the head of that one, and another one, the larger clear epoxy. Well, it's larger than the rhinestones, but it's a small clear epoxy here, and then we just want to leave room for a small rhinestone. If I can get it off here. There. That's a little too far down. I need to move it up. There. Now, just one little rhinestone here. A little over, please. And then one up here. And we are finished. Okay, this was card number 6 in my Beauty Abounds February Club Kit. I hope you enjoyed making these cards. I enjoyed creating them. Check out my website, www.cutstampcreateclub.com, to see what my next club kit will be. Thanks for watching. Bye now.